Hey everyone, my name is Abhishek and today we are going to create this documentary style people cutout animation in After Effects. Now it looks very professional and at the same time it's very easy to create. You can use these kind of animations in your documentary edits or any kind of project. So let's see how to make this in After Effects. Alright, so I'm in After Effects and in order to create these kind of animations, we need some cutout of people. So I already downloaded these images. So these are just transparent images with no background. So it's completely up to you, can use whatever image you want. Also for the texture, I'm going to use this image which I downloaded for free from unsplash.com. So just go to Unsplash and search for grunge texture and you can download any kind of texture you want. So I am going to use this one. Once you have everything, just import them in After Effects and you're ready to go. First we will begin by creating a new composition. Let's call this one main. Width and height will be 1920 by 1080, frame rate 30 fps, duration you can make whatever you want. Just click on OK. Now we are going to create another composition for our image. Let's call this one image and rest of the things will remain same. Just click on OK. Now inside this image comp we are going to drag our image. So I'm going to use this one. Let's drag it over here. Now you can scale it down and just place it however you want. So I'm going to place it in the middle like that. Now once you're done with this, let's go back to the main comp and first we're going to create a background by right clicking. Let's create a solid and for this one I'm going to make it little bit white but with a hint of this yellow color. Looks good to me. Now after this we are going to create first our image look. So for that we are going to drag our image. Let's select this and let's drag it over here. Let's make it black and white. So for that we can search for tint and let's drag it over here. Also let's search for curves and let's drag it over to this as well. Now I'm going to add a little bit of contrast to make it little bit dark, something like that. Yeah, this looks good to me. Now once we have this, we are ready to create an outline or dotted outline outside our image. So for that I'm going to quickly hide this and let's focus on creating the dot first. So let's select the ellipse tool and I'm going to just simply click and drag and hold on the shift key to create a small circle like this. Once you have this, we can easily add repeater to this. So just go to add and click on repeater. Now under this, we are going to increase the number of copies. So I'm going to set this to 100 and let's go inside the repeater transform properties and I'm going to reduce this distance between these to something let's say 39 or 40. Yeah, this looks good to me. Now I'm going to add one more copy of repeater. So let's add repeater 2 and under this I'm going to set this to 100 as well. Like that. Now under the transform and instead of moving it on the x-axis, I'm going to set the x to 0. I'm going to set the y to 40 so that we have this grid of these dots. Now the best thing about this is if you want to change anything. So for example, if I have to change the size of this, all you have to do is just press S and reduce the size of this ball and all of the other ones will reduce the size like this. And this looks good to me. So I'm going to quickly align it to wherever I want. So somewhere around here so that we have this dotted pattern. Now we want our image to be visible through this. So for that we can have one more image. Let's drag it inside this and I'm going to quickly add a outline to this. So for that let's right click, go to layer style and let's add a stroke and under the stroke I'm going to increase the stroke size. So let's increase it to something like that. Yeah, this looks good to me. So once you're happy with this, all we have to do is just simply select this and let's change its track matte to this image. Now you can see we are able to see the dotted pattern. In case you are using the older versions of After Effects, then you won't have this track matte, you won't have this spec wave. Instead you will have alpha matte, alpha inverted. So you can either update it or just simply place this layer above it and just select alpha matte. And once you have this, we can select our image and let's place it on top of it and let's enable it so that we can see it. Perfect. Now you will notice one more thing, that we have these dots and let's quickly change their color. So I'm going to set this to black. Perfect. Now we want a background behind this as well. So for that we can select this image layer which we used as a track matte. Let's duplicate this. Let's place it at the bottom and I'm going to enable it as well. So now you can see we are able to see the background. Now we can quickly change its color. Let's open this up. Let's search for color and I'm going to change the dot color and let's make it little bit of this pinkish red. Yeah, this looks good to me. Here you can see we have this dotted outline. Again, if you want, you can play around with the size of it to make these dots smaller like that. or you can increase the distance between them by simply going to the repeater properties, and from here you can play around with these. So if I increase this, now you can see the dots are like far away. So I think this looks good to me. We can probably play with the scale, and let's just reduce it like a little bit. Now we are ready to add more elements to our scene. So first we are going to add the strip. Now before we proceed, if you want to learn some 3D CGI and VFX stuff, then you can check out my Patreon page. Over there I have uploaded full tutorials in which I have explained each and every step how to make these kind of animations. Then you can check out my Patreon page. Link for that is in the description. Now let's continue. So for that, let's select the rectangle tool, and all we have to do is just simply click and drag. So here you can see we have the strip. Let's quickly change its color, and I'm going to use this one only, like that. Now under the mode, I'm going to change this to multiply. So you can see we are able to see everything. Now let's quickly align this. Let's press R, and I'm going to align it over here. And let's increase its size. This looks good to me. Now we are going to make its anchor point move to this side. So let's select the pan anchor tool. Now hold on the control key and click and just move it to this point, like that. So here we are done with our image. Now let's quickly create a controller to control everything. So right click, new, let's add a null object. Now I'm going to select all of these layers. Let's just parent them to this null, like that. Now we can easily animate it using this null. But first let's add our text as well. So let's select this, and I'm going to quickly move it to this side. Now for the text, let's select the text tool and just click and just type whatever you want. I'm going to type this, and let's quickly change its color, and I'm going to like make it dark. Now let's move its anchor point in the center. Now let's increase its size. Perfect. Now let's select this. Let's press Ctrl D. Let's create one more text, and I'm going to place it down below. Let's duplicate once more, and let's add one more text. And there you go. Now we have our text. Now I'm going to select all of these text layers, and let's just align them where we want them to be. So somewhere around here looks good to me. Now we are going to add these boxes onto these text as well. So for that, you can either select these. Let's press Ctrl D, and I'm going to like move this to the top. Now I'm going to change this parenting to none so that we can easily move it over here. Let's press S, and I'm going to uncheck these, and let's just increase their size. So I think this looks good to me. Maybe let's press R, and let's rotate it like a little bit. Yeah, this looks good to me. Now I'm going to press Ctrl D to duplicate this. Let's place one over here, and this one we can like move it little bit down below, like this. Let's select this, press Ctrl D, and let's add one more to this text. For this one, we can like make it completely opposite. So let's add it to this side, and let's move it to over here. Perfect. So I like this style, and once you're happy with this, we are ready to animate everything out. So first I'm going to select all of these layers, and let's just place them where we want them to be at last, like here. Now we are ready to animate everything. First we are going to animate our image. So for that, I'm going to again select this, and let's bring it to the center point. Now we want all of these layers to be down below, so I'm going to select all of them. Let's place them over here, and I'm going to quickly change their color to, let's say, green, so that we can easily identify them. Now let's add a keyframe for scale. Let's add a keyframe for position as well. Let's press U. Now in the beginning, I'm going to increase the scale quite a bit, like that. And also I'm going to like move it down below, like that. Now let's go to somewhere around 1 second, and I'm going to set its scale to 100, and I'm going to move it up like this. So just place it at the center once again. And after that, we can go to somewhere around 3 seconds, and I'm going to move it to the right side. So now if I press play, you can see we have this animation, and then it moves to this side. Now we can select all the keyframes, press F9 to ease them. Let's go to the graph editor, and I'm going to quickly change the graph to look something like this, so that we want this to start like very fast, like that. And at this point, we can make it start moving to this side like slowly, and in the middle we can have like little bit of speed. So now if I press play, you can see we have this animation. I think this looks good to me. Now we want this to be animated separately, so for that we can select this, and let's press S, and somewhere around here let's add a keyframe, and I'm going to move this keyframe ahead, and in the beginning I'm going to uncheck these values and let's set the X value to 0 so that you can see we have this, and maybe we can extend it a little bit more. Let's press F9. Perfect. And let's move it to this side. Yeah, I think this looks good to me. Now, once we have it over here, we are ready to animate our text as well. So first I'm going to select all of these three, and let's parent each of their respective shape layer to the text as well. So this is going to be parented to what is, and this one will be parented to making, and this one will be parented to Google. Let's place them in this order only. Now I'm going to select all of them. Let's press P for position. This is going to be our final position. So I'm going to add a keyframe. Now in the beginning, I want these to be somewhere in the middle like that. Now also let's add a keyframe for scale as well. Let's press U, and I'm going to move their scale to this. And in the beginning, let's set the scale to something like 80 so that they are not visible. Now I'm going to select all of them, press F9 to ease them. Now let's hide their starting like this so that they are not visible. Let's hide these as well. Now if I press play, you can see we have these coming in, but they are coming very quickly. So I'm going to move them outwards. Let's go to the graph and let's change the graph to look like this so that we have this quick motion in the middle. Now if I press play, you can see we have these coming in perfectly. Now we can offset them by simply selecting these layers. So let's select these two and these two, and let's just move them like far away. So I'm going to press page down key 1, 2, 3, 4. So somewhere around here we can have like the next two layers coming in. Again, let's press page down 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's move it over here. Now if I press play, you can see all of these are coming one after other. Perfect. Maybe we can select this and let's move these closer as well so that this is a little bit faster. So once you have this, we are ready to animate these boxes as well. So for that, we can select all of them. Let's press S and let's add a keyframe for all of these. And over here, I'm going to set their X value to 0. So here you can see we have these. Now let's press F9 to ease them, and we are going to do the same easing. So let's just change the easing to something like that. So now if I press play, you can see we have this overall animation like this. Once you have this, we are ready to add our texture. So the texture part is also quite easy. All you have to do is just simply select this texture. Let's drag it inside a composition by clicking over here. Now I'm going to quickly zoom in and let's move somewhere around 5 frames. Then I'm going to select this, press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer, and select this, right click, transform, and I'm going to flip this horizontally. Again, let's move 5 frames. Let's press Ctrl Shift D. Now again, I'm going to transform. This time I'm going to flip it vertically. So we are basically creating a bunch of different variations. Now let's select this, transform, and let's again do it horizontally. Now we have created all the 4 variations. Now we can select this and let's zoom in. Now we can move them to their respective corners. So I'm going to like first pick this one, then again move 5 frames. Let's press Ctrl Shift D. Let's move to 5 frames, press Ctrl Shift D. Now I'm going to select the last layer, press delete. Now we can select the endpoint and let's just move it to the end frame like that. Now right click, trim comp to work area. So here we have our animated texture. Now let's quickly import it inside our comp. Let's go to the main and let's select the texture and let's drag it over here. Now this texture is quite big, so I'm going to press S and let's just quickly scale this down to something like that so that it covers the entire screen. Now first we want this to like keep on going. So for that we can create a loop, right click, time, enable time remapping. Now hold on the Alt key, click on this stopwatch, just type this expression loop out, and after that you can quickly select the endpoint and extend it. Now here is a quick tip. If I play it, you can see the texture is playing. Now if this is looking like too fast, then you can select this endpoint and let's just move it. So now you can see the texture has become like a little bit slower, which is exactly what we want. Now we can change this blending mode to multiply. After that we can search for curves and let's drag it down to this texture, and I'm going to select in the middle and let's drag it all the way to the up. like that. So here you can see we have created this very nice texture like that. Perfect. So I'm liking this texture. Maybe we can select this and let's press S to make it like a little bit bigger. Now to stylize it more, there is one more thing that you can do. If I right click, let's create an solid and just click on OK. And onto this one, we can search for fractal noise and let's drag it onto this. Now under this, I'm going to set this to spline and let's increase the contrast. Let's increase the brightness as well. Complexity, I'm going to set this to all the way 1. Under the transform, let's increase the scale quite a bit like that. Now we are going to create a blur layer. So for that, let's add an adjustment layer. And onto this one, let's search for compound blur and let's drag it onto this adjustment layer. And under the blur layer, we can select the solid on which we have applied our effect. Also make sure that this is set to effect and mask. Now we can hide this. Now right away you can see we are able to see the blur, but we want it to be inverted. So I'm going to just click on invert blur. So now you can see some of these areas are blurred and rest of them are like quite visible. So if you want, you can play around with more with this. So for example, if I increase the brightness, now everything is completely unblurred. Now if I decrease this, you can see it will increase the blur amount. So you can play around with these however you want. I'm going to like keep it over here so that some of these areas are blurred, some of them are not. You can also play with evolution to get like different views, different variations like these. So now if I press play, you can see at last we have created our animation and everything is nicely working. Now the best thing about this animation is that it's completely procedural. So if I go to the image, all I have to do is just replace the image with a different one. So for example, let's drag this one. Let's quickly scale this down and I'm going to like place it somewhere around here. Now if I go back, you can see we have updated our image. All we have to do is just simply play around with this shape and let's just align it to the eyes. Perfect. Now we can change the text as well. And there you go. Now we have changed the text as well. Now in the same way, you can change the colors as well. So for the colors, let's search for fill and we can drag it onto these shapes. Let's change the color quickly and I'm going to like make this a little bit blue. Let's copy it and paste it onto all of these layers. Now we can change the color of these as well. Let's select this shape and just paste it onto this, and this one we can make it orange. And now we can select the outline, which is this one, and let's search for color, and this one we can make it orange as well. There you go. Now you can see we have updated everything. Now if I press play, you can see all the animations are already applied. So this is how you can create these kind of documentary style edits, and the best thing is that you can reuse them by simply changing few things. So the project files for this tutorial is available on Patreon. So if you're supporting me over there, then you can download it from there. And if you're not, then you might consider it, because you will get access to the tutorial project files and exclusive templates and all the other exclusive tutorials that are available only on Patreon. So make sure to check it out. Link for that is in the description. And with that being said, my name is Abhishek and I'll see you in the next one.